Right. So this is my attempt at Fibonacci. I'm doing this just practicing coding. I want to record it so that way I can view it for later and just really get my thought process, especially later on down a year or later on in the year. So I'm working on trying to write more effective algorithms and just changing the way that I think about programming. So this example, Fibonacci, but of course we know what it is. It basically is the it's the when you have one number starting with 0 and 1. If you add it together, then you get 1. You add the previous two numbers together, you get 2, and then 3, 5, 8, etc. So I want to write a program that will, or function that will take input of any number and print the nth of that Fibonacci number. So if we go like 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so this will probably be like the 6 numbers. Just one enter 6, it'll print that number. So first off, let's import our good stuff here. We need to import our import our scanner. This we can get. Damn it! There we go. Good. I don't know why. Right, and since this is, I already have it named efficient Fibonacci, just so I can remember it. We have the Fibonacci class, which is called efficient Fibonacci. All right, and boom. All right, looking good so far. So we create a method in this class. Again, a method is just a function inside of a class that we can use. And I'm creating a long function because Fibonacci can print very large numbers, and it can, computer just can't handle it. So long keyword allows us to input or use 64-bit integers. So I think the longest one, it just has a limit. So we don't want to use a 32-bit because these numbers can scale quite a bit. So let's do, my name is in Fibo. Yeah. All right, so first things first, if the user, of course, if the user inputs a value that is equal to or less than 1, then we just want to return that value. So again, if they enter either 0 or 1, we just want to return that because those are the first two. You can't really add, you need two previous numbers in order to get the sequence of events. So we want everything after that, right? So the first thing is to create a long array. I'm gonna call this Fibo list. And we're going to use the input or parameter, as the length of our array. So we want +1 because say if they enter like 9, we want to include 9, not 0 through 8. So it's the nth factor here, right? And we just want to go ahead from the beginning and set the first two variables, or first two elements, to 0 and same way that we have. No, let's camel case this. I don't want to do it like that. I like camel casing because it feels weird if it doesn't, if I don't do it. All right, I think it's gonna complain for a while. So, okay. So now we have both of the first two elements as 0 and 1. So now we want to have I'm gonna use a for loop in this one where we start from the second element Right, so on forward, that's when we start adding the last two. So in this case, it's going to be f is less than or equal to in Fibo, and we want to increment it after that. And in that array, we want to make the element, so in this case, the next one, where 2 would be, we want that to equal the combination of the last two elements. So we want the current element that we're at minus, let's do, so we want that minus 1. We want to add that, so same thing, minus 2. So if we go back here, in case this is to the second element, we want to get the first or the, first in an array, or I guess the second. Yeah, but, and of course, minus 2 will give us the very first one, the zeroth, zero element. No. Either way, that's what we need in our lives right there. And actually, I think that's all we need to do for right now. And afterwards, we just return it. We want to return this. We want to return the N50. So essentially, so say we have a array, or say the user inputs 10. We want to have a array built out with 10 plus 1 elements starting from 0. And we want to, once the array is built, we want the very last one, which will be, the element that we're saying. So we want to build up to that point. Right, so now we just need our public static, what name, we got good stuff right there. Is it ours? Yeah, it's ours. So of course, since we're taking input here, I like to say input scanner, of course, since it's an input dot in, and we want that, we want the input to be a integer. So let's do Fibo in equals input dot next int. All right, and then from there we just print it out. So that out dot print line, and let's add some tagging here. Fibonacci. Okay. Oh. Want to concatenate outside of this, and we want to call our function that we created, which would be Fibo, and we put in our input. Right. So let's see what happens. Let's run it. All right. So let's put in 5 because it's 5. So 1, 2, 3. Oh well, it starts with +1. So this will be the 5th element here. So if we put in like, let's run it again, like 10, that should give us like 55, right? So, and if we want to see what's going on here, we can debug it. And we can debug that bad boy and see what's going on. So again, let's do 20. Yeah, so here we have, of course, all the array built out. So there are 21 elements that you see here. So whatever the user +1, because we have to account for 0. And we start building it out element by element. So if we just step over into the for loop, we see it starts building out exactly as we have in our preview. So 2 + 1, 3, 3 + 2, 5, 5 + 3, 8, so on and so forth. Yeah. Let's make this, bring this down. There we go. Yeah. So the reason why I do it this way, or it should be done this way, We want it to scale. So this actually has a much faster time complexity because it's storing it in an array and just going through the array. Whereas if you're using a recursive method or if you use recursion, it will give you a time complexity of like 2n, which is still, it can take a long time. So if I'm using, like in this case, like let's say 50, boom, gives it to me right there. Whereas if I were to do that with recursion, it would take a very long time. Kind of. My computer's pretty fast, but it will take a while. So that's it for right now. I just wanted to get this out the way. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these because it really just helps with practice and talking through this. It helps me understand it a lot more and why. So future me, let's do this.